Get up and run after it.
Your brain is designed to keep you safe. Your soul, your intuition, your human spirit is designed to make you safe.
That's not just your sword. That's not just an idea. That's your sword. That's not just a dancing gift. Your sword. What you cannot do is you cannot quit during the process. You cannot give up because it ain't what you see. You cannot give up. Champions keep going when they don't have anything left in their tank. I mean, lies. And I'm saying, yeah, the greatness is a team of men that never stop pushing.
Woo, man, what's good with you? This is Algernon Hall, aka the Dream Catcher, the Dream Coach, man. I'm ecstatic. I'm excited, man. I'm charged up. It's Inspirational Wednesdays, and we just keep continuing on this unstoppable journey to pursue and to awaken our dreams, man. I hope you're excited. I hope you're off to a great week. It's Wednesday. Some call it Hump Day. I call it Inspirational Wednesdays. It's all about continuing that same fire, that same passion, that same desire that we started off on Monday, man. So without further ado, I want to jump right in. It is January 20th, 2021. Today is the inauguration. Many of us are still watching it. And it's a new day. I mean, it's a new day. We're the third week within this particular year. And I don't know about you, but I'm excited and I'm expecting great things for 2021. I'm believing like never before. I'm thinking like never before. I'm seeing like never before. And I'm really just really focused on just really starting off and maintaining this start that we got. So I want to talk to you guys about today about a topic called focus on your start. I said focus on your start, and I think that a lot of people, they say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I would argue that. I would argue and I would say that starting is just as important as finishing, because many of us have not began. Many of us have not started to write our story. Many of us just really think about things, speak things, but we don't take the actions necessary to bring those particular things in life. So today I want to talk about focusing our start on 2021, on January 20th, 2021. If you haven't written down goals, if you haven't spent that intimate time with yourself and identify what you wanted to do, what you wanted to accomplish in 2021, it's not too late. We got plenty of time. We got 11 and a half months to go, and we got to understand that our start is important. You know, I began to really understand how starts really was important running track at Westside High School in Newark. I remember running as a sophomore and running as a junior, and as we were training as a young sophomore, I remember our Coach Hooper and Coach Stoney was talking about us getting out the blocks, how important it is with our start. And, you know, some people run like cheaters. Some people, when they run their race, they're strong all the way through. But for other people, it's important for them to get off to a good start. And for many of us, we got to understand that our start has value. Our start is important. Our start is critical for us as we do this thing called life and as we push forward in 2021 with all the situations and all the circumstances that we're dealing with currently, with the social climate. Many people have lost their jobs. Many people are still unemployed. Many people are struggling with mental health. There's a lot of things that we're dealing with. So it's important for us to get off to a good start. If you're a cheater, your start may not be that important because you can catch up. Like you got jets, like you can catch up. But if you're not gifted all the way around, if you aren't strong enough, if you don't have the mental fortitude, if you get off to a bad start, it could be very difficult to recover. So I want to talk about three things. Type three things in the comment section. Three things that we need to do to get a good start. And the first thing I want to focus on is just focus on you. What do you mean by this, dream catcher? What do you mean by this, Al Hall? I'm talking about you just eliminating distraction. I'm talking about you minding your business. I'm talking about you focusing on you and your lane. If you take a look at these track runners in the block, what you will see and what you'll observe is they're not looking to the left. They're not looking to the right. They're not concerned with who's on their right, who's on their left. They're not concerned at all. All they're focused on is what they have to do. All they're focused on and thinking about is what they've done up to this point to run this race. All they're thinking about is finishing and doing it is what we were called and assigned and what we trained to do. But we got to do the same thing. Many of us are looking at other people, looking at people, places, or things, looking and seeing what other people are doing, looking and not focusing on our process, on our journey, and our lane. And we get distracted. So that's the first thing. We got to understand that you got to be locked and engaged in 2021. 2020, you had distractions. 2019, you had distractions. 2018, you had distractions. Enough is enough. 2021, it's about focusing on you. It's about focusing on your ideas. It's about focusing on your dreams. It's about focusing and awakening those things so you can be and do all that you were called and purposed to do. Focus on you. The second thing that we really got to understand is identify and focus. Identify and focus on your goals in the finish line. You know, I just did a virtual experience with dream catchers for a charter school, and it was a lot of people that admitted in a poll, an anonymous poll, that they don't set goals. There's a lot of people that sat there and they were brutally honest with themselves, and they haven't even identified things that they want to accomplish. And if you really think about it, if you haven't identified the things that you want to accomplish or the things that you want to attain, have you really given thought to what you want your life to look like? Can you really say that you want to connect and awaken your ideas, your visions, and your dreams? I think not. I think that if you don't identify what it is that you want to accomplish, if you don't spend that intimate time with you, that personal time with you, that heartbreaking, the blood, sweat, and tears crying, that quality time with you, you can't identify those things that you want to accomplish. You just can't. Because if you don't do that, what it really is and what it simply is you just writing down hollow things that you're just thinking on the surface. You're just writing down things that sound good, but may not and also look good, but are they really good for you? And when we focus on these things, we're going to talk about how we focus on how we identify them. But it's also important, and I'm looking right now, like I'm talking into this particular screen, I'm looking at this green light. That's my finish line. That's my connecting point. That's my direction. That's giving me clarity on where it is that I want to go, where it is that I need to be going, what direction I'm supposed to be focusing and heading towards. So we're going to talk about this, and we want to break down, how do we do this? How do we focus daily? How do we focus daily? And I put up a post on Instagram and Facebook a couple of days ago, and I'm paraphrasing it, and I thought that I had it in this particular presentation, but it says that our growth, our success, and our breakthrough is tied into our ability to focus. Type focus in the comments section right now. I got to be brutally honest. It's a lot of things that I did not accomplish in 2020 because I was not focused. I lost focus. I got distracted. I started doing other things, and I got out of my lane. So how do we focus on these things, particularly daily? And in this workshop or this virtual experience that I did with the students, I talked about the micro and the macro goals. I may not have to explain it, but I'm going to do it for those that don't really understand what I'm talking about. The macro is the big goal. The macro is the goal, and we're going to use weight loss as an example. I want to lose 40 pounds. I want to lose 40 pounds, and that's my macro goal. But what's the micro goal? A lot of people, when we write goals down, if we're honest with ourselves, many of us, we wrote down goals in the previous years, and when we got to October and November, we looked ourselves in the mirror, we looked at that notebook, or we glanced at our screensaver, and we said, we ain't even start working on these goals. We wrote it down in January or in December, and we have not done the small things to lead up to us accomplishing that particular goal. That's the micro goals. So what do we do daily? Micro is daily. Type daily in the chat. We talk all the time about, we talk about habits, right? We talk about a lot of the bad habits we had, and we also talked about good habits, and how do we develop them, and how do we create them, and how do we get rid of those bad habits that we have that's preventing us from being our best selves. It says 21 days, 21 days of developing a good habit, or, and not the bad habit, would allow us to break a particular thing or develop a good habit in a particular area. We also talked about 90 days for a lifestyle. So these are things that we need to do. We need to develop a lifestyle, type lifestyle in the comment section for us to accomplish and to be and to do all the things that we aspire to do in 2021. We got to work daily. So the first thing we got to understand is we got to write goals down on the micro level and to give ourselves clear direction. You ever wonder, on days where you got a really, really heavy day? I know I do this when I got a lot I got to accomplish or whatever. And at these particular times, we pull out a sheet of paper or we pull out our smartphone, and in our notes, we put down a to-do list. We need to do a to-do list every single day on a micro level, connecting us to the macro. So you want to lose that 40 pounds or that 50 pounds, stay with me. You want to lose that. So what can I do on Wednesday, January 2021, to connect me to the macro goal, the goal that I'm trying to accomplish, whether it's a 3-month goal or a 6-month goal, or whether it's a 12-month goal? What do I need to do today to impact my tomorrow? Well, it means going to the gym, right? It means eating right. It means drinking more water. It means sacrificing. It means us not, eliminating those stops, those dessert stops. That's me. The McDonald's apple pie, I need the 2, especially when they was 2 for $1. I was killing it. We got to eliminate those things so we can connect to our micro. So when we write those things down, we're taking inventory of the things that we need to accomplish today. Those things that we want to, that we need to be doing today. And as we got it in front of us, that we have it in our smartphone, as we're looking at these particular things, when we start to see ourselves drifting, when we start to see ourselves distracting, we got clear direction and we could pull ourselves back. The second thing is get your mind right. Type, I need to be right in the comment section. We're struggling with, many of us are dealing with mental health. Many of us are unemployed. Many of us are going through situations and relationships at home. Many of us are going through challenges with our children. Many of us are overworked and we got so much on our plate, and we got to be focused and we got to keep the right mindset. This race, this thing called life that we're doing, it's not easy. And we got to be in the right mindset. When you're running and when you're about to do a race, you're not thinking about yesterday. I mean, you can reflect on yesterday, but when you run a race, you're running, it's like you being at a track meet. There's multiple track meets. You had a track meet on Tuesday, and you may have been blown out. You probably came in last. I'm using the track analogy. I'm still on the track analogy. Stay with me. But today's Wednesday, and it's a new track meet. And irregardless to what happened yesterday, you may have failed, you may have dropped the baton, you may not have gotten into a good start, you may have ran out of gas. You may have ran out your lane and got disqualified. That was yesterday, January 19th, and it has nothing to do with January 20th, 2021. You got to get your mind right. We can't be distracted. We can't be thinking about our past. We can't be thinking about our shortcomings. We can't be thinking about what we don't have. We got to think about the race that we're in right now, the lane that we're in right now, because that's urgent. That's urgent for us. And if we do these things consistently, if we do these things daily, if we got the right mindset, that mental toughness, that mental strength, that's the thing that keeps you grounded. When your body's telling you no, when people are telling you that you can't, when you're reading things and you're looking around at the world at what's going on and you're saying that I can't do this, now it's not the right time. Your mental toughness, keep your mind right. 3, push and keep your stride. I remember running the 200 and the 400. I didn't really fool with the 800. But when you run the 200 and the 400, you come off that curve. And as you can see these runners on that particular curve, there's a straightaway. Depending on the race that you're running on, particularly for me, it was the 400. When I got onto that last curve, my body was telling me I don't got no more. But I'm telling you that you got to push. I had to tell myself, you got to keep going. Right at this particular point, You may not have the energy, but all you have is the mental fortitude telling you to push. You rely on your stride on that backstretch to continue your form, to propel you towards the finish line. That's what we got to do in life. We got to push. We got to get into our stride. And despite what our body is telling us, despite what our emotions are telling us, despite what the world is telling us, you got to push. This race is not easy. This race is hard. This race is going to scrape you up at times. This race may not feel good all the time, but you got to push. If you really want what you say you want, if you really want that particular goal, if you wrote that thing down in December or November or January, whatever you did, or if you wrote it down after this particular video, you got to know and understand that you got to push. There's going to be times where you're going to want to give up. There's going to be times that you want to quit, but you can't quit. You got to push. You got to get into your stride and you got to keep moving. You got to push. We got our start. You hit that curve. You got that straightaway. You got your eyes locked and loaded on your finish line. Goal after goal, achievement after achievement, micro goal after micro goal, knocked down, checked off. Wednesday check, 22nd check. You keep going. You keep pushing. And you know what? Every day might not be a good day. Maybe today you get blown out again, but you got another meet tomorrow. When you open your eyes, when you get out the bed, you got another meet. You got another meet until you called home. So we need to push and we need to strive. The last thing is to visualize. Visualize yourself crossing the finish line. You know, and I'm learning this more and more as I get older, and I talk about this all the time, and I'm not taking credit for it because Les Brown said this thing, but our imagination is shaped off of what we see, what we hear, and what we experience. Our imagination is shaped off of what we see, what we hear, and what we experience. And for many of us, we haven't seen much. Many of us, we haven't heard much about ourselves. Many of us, we haven't experienced great success. And because of that, we can't visualize success. Those things that we really want in our heart, those things that we desire, those things that we're hesitant to write down because we can't visualize ourselves. I'm telling you, we got to look at our lives. We got to look at ourselves in a different lens. We got to connect with our faith and use that lens to see ourselves the way that we were called to see ourselves, so we could become what we were called to become. We got to see it. You got to see it before you can see it. You got to see it before you can see it. You got to see it before you can see it. You got to see it before you can see it. There's a scientist that said that creations are created twice. They're created in our mind and then they're manifested. You got to see it before you see it naturally. You got to see it before you see it, before you start doing those things. You got to see yourself in that place, doing that particular thing, whatever that particular thing is. You got to visualize yourself crossing the finish line. Recap. Nuggets, 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 nuggets. This fire, put fire in the comment section. I'm feeling fire. I'm feeling fire. Nuggets in the recap, but we got to get this, man. We got to focus on our start. We got 11 and a half months to go. Type 11 and a half in the comment section. We got the whole race. Many of us, we may have stumbled out the blocks. Some of us have got out strong. Some of us, you know what, we still in the blocks, but it's all good. Some of you are cheaters. Some of you can focus on pushing in your stride. We got to focus on identifying, right? We got to identify the finish line. What's your goal? If you have not written them down, if you have not spent that quality time, you need to spend that quality time with yourself and identify your finish line. What is it that you want to accomplish? Focus on you. Get away from the distractions. Remove yourself. Focus on you. Don't worry about what other people are doing. You run your race. Going back to that first thing, focus on you. Don't look at those other runners. You don't look down the line. You focus on your lane. You focus on that green light, that line at the end of the tunnel, your finish line, your goal, your idea, your vision, your dream. You focus on that. And last but not least, start seeing like never before. Start thinking bigger like never before, because you need to visualize yourself crossing the finish line. You got to break the curse. Nobody can break the curse for you. And maybe you don't have a curse in your family, but you've been carrying and you've created, you've spoken a spell over yourself. And because of your thinking, because of your lack of eyesight, you can't see yourself accomplishing greatness. You can't see your best self because you're stuck on the past. You're stuck on what you did. You're stuck on external factors. You're stuck on everybody else but you. Start seeing yourself so you can become. Start seeing yourself so you can start seeing it in the natural. Start seeing yourself, visualizing so you can manifest that thing and show your greatness to the world. Man, I'm excited. If this was helpful, man, like it, comment. Somebody needs to hear this particular message. Share it with them. If this is something that you really need to reevaluate about yourself in 2021 to accomplish those goals, we got to start checking them off. We got to stop having carryover from the following year. That's me. We got to start working on a micro level, working towards that macro. And for many of us, check this out. I said this at the virtual experience with the kids. Some dreams, some ideas, some visions that we have, we can't do them in 6 months or in a year. We can't. Some were meant to take 5 years. Some were meant to take 2 years. Some were meant to take 10 years. Life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. But we got to keep pushing. We got to fall in love with our process. Type process in the chat. You know what your training look like. You know what you do, what you have to do better in. You know what your shortcomings are. You got to work on those on the micro level, day by day, step by step, until you reach your goal, until you awaken that idea, that vision, and that dream. Man, I want to appreciate you guys and thank you guys for continuing this journey with me with Inspirational Wednesdays. If this content is valuable for you, if you're not following me, check me out on Instagram at Algernon_Hall. I'm also on Facebook at Algernon Hall. Motivational content, my own motivational content quotes every single day. And if you have any needs for any type of professional development, assemblies, virtual experiences, what have you, get at me at info@algernonhall.com. I'm excited. I'm charged up. I'm going to keep saying this till I'm blue in the face. Guys, listen to me. It's time for us to dream, believe, and make history. God willing, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
And your purpose. Life is so short. Life only has a little time. Although it will continue to go on, you cannot hold on and think that every day is promised to you. We have all experienced great losses in our life. We have all felt that pain of losing a loved one, someone that we cared about. But yet we're still here. And now we must go on. But what is the example that we're going to leave? What kind of leadership and what kind of leadership qualities do we have? How do we go on? How do we lead the next generation? Hate is not going to make it work. Being afraid to be truthful to who you are will only limit who you truly are inside. Don't let anyone take that away from you. Don't let anyone take away who you are, how true you are, and what you matter in this world to so many other people.